I'm assuming with the camera, I'm assuming that you're pretty presently on. Am I correct? Just so that we're aware, in case if you are listening, this call is recorded. You did request and consent to this. I even do have the information on YouTube and also to that knowledge. You are aware. Just so we're clear on that. Can you hear me?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay, so I want to get down to what's going on here because I kind of want to really kind of deep into this sort of thing. See, like, what's the issue here? And I get it. I know this is trivial shit that's going on, but I want to kind of understand what the huge problem is because after all this, this is just becoming just ordeal bullshit. Do you have a mic or anything? I mean, or headphones?
Oh. Yeah.
Okay, so I can hear you pretty well.
Okay.
So let's go over some things right now because I'm finding this a little hard to really kind of grasp and stuff like this because, well, like I said, I'm not really going to go deep into like to my own personal views because I'm not going to share that because apparently, I guess there's an issue with us and I'm not really too keen on this situation because I pretty much went past this and I've already got issues with this sort of type of shit that's been going on. So let's just get right down to it. We had an argument about something, even though it's something that I really kind of moved past on, which I thought would never come back to this, and we're back to here again. So I want to know what your complete deal with me is and seeing where this shit's going.
Um, I don't know on what issue you're referring to.
You can spare me that. I know we pretty much talked about this on YouTube. You know it. I know it. Don't bullshit me here. I know it. I know what we're talking about. I know what the issue is. We've been having this argument. I woke up to your stuff this morning. Not that it's a real big deal to me, but it's something I really wanted to go over. I mean, pretty much, my username, ThrashMetalGuru, you pretty much replied to me. Your username is Lee Min Suk. Am I correct?
Lee Min-soo.
That is correct. Okay, so let's go over this because I got a lot of issues with this sort of thing, and it's the same crap that I get from a lot of people that are also, and pardon me because this is going to make a loud noise. There we go. So let's go over what we just said here, or what you said here, because I'm really lost. Everything that this conservative bigot has said is wrong. Age, rape, consent never existed. Human beings have had the right to have sex to live their lives the ways they want to. It does not matter what parents say. Stop hating people that are different than you lead on one another. I'm not sure this is the exact order. I'm just reading what the top thing says. Pedosexuals have equal rights no matter what conservatives say. Sex is for everyone to enjoy, and nobody has the right to violate human rights of others. Stop lying about not being conservatives because you are. Stop being closed-minded and oppressing humanity with your promotion of conservative propaganda and fake news. Leave people alone and learn the truth. There are so many things about this that I find way wrong with this because, number one, let me point out the obvious. I don't come off as a conservative, okay? I lean a lot different away from the conservative area. So how you come up with conservative, that is beyond me. But the problem with this is that you're telling me age, rape, and consent never existed, even though pretty much obviously those actions have obviously existed. So where you come off with this is just complete and utter inept bullshit. How this is pretty much the same thing that I hear from people with such delusional minds. How did you come up with this?
Based upon the universal truth, the way the universe works. Nowhere in, nowhere else in the universe, in our existence, does anything is anything based upon the regulation of age or in regulation of consent? All that is man-made. So nowhere in the universe does it exist. If I went to Mars, it wouldn't matter how old I was. If you know, it doesn't matter. Age doesn't exist. Nowhere you go on any other planet, age doesn't matter. Age doesn't exist.
Well, we're on planet Earth, and pretty much by the law that states, and pretty much nowhere in the legal section of any law book within the orders of pretty much the Earth and the pretty much the country of America, as far as I'm concerned, that pedophilia is allowed. So nowhere in that legal book is pretty much turned out, and the universal sort of crap. There has been no civilization out on these other planets, to be precisely honest with you. So how we come up with this is complete utter bullshit.
But
Number one.
that becomes the thing. There's no civilization anywhere on other planets but Earth. So the only places that system actually exists is Earth. Nowhere else in the universe. So seeing how Earth is a part of the universe, but yet we have our own systematic equation as that exists only on Earth and not in that universe. Therefore, clearly there's a problem. That means that we're not in sync with the rest of the universe.
We're not.
That means that everything that we say doesn't exist.
We're
The
not.
age and stuff doesn't exist because it doesn't exist anywhere in the universe. We're not in sync with the same system that we should be in the universe that we live in.
Well, I hate to break it to you, pal, but pretty much we're living in the world of reality. That's pretty much on planet Earth, where pretty much age does exist from the time that you were conceived inside of your mother to the time you come out of your mother's vagina. And I'm only saying this in pretty much that way of the life part, until the day you die. Hate to break it to you, buddy, but that's pretty much how age works. Consent, pretty much the permissions, is pretty much set from human beings. We got the human being part covered, but here's the thing about it, though. Children having sex with adults is not something that should be seen together. There is the reason for parenting. Parents and their kids. Parents are the people that are teaching their children right from wrong. That does not give some 40 or 50-year-old fuck the right to have sex with someone's kids because they think that should be okay. Again, nowhere in the legal book in the United States of America have I seen that pedophilia should be legalized or pretty much normalized in any other area. That's completely utter bullshit. And I want to get into something else here, right here. I want to read this part because this one I found very intriguing. Let's just go into that. And it's going to take a moment to load because I got a shit-ass computer, but but I'm going to read to you what I've argued. Because the point of parents is to look after their kids, to raise them right, to make sure that they live in an environment where they can actually grow up and have a healthier system, to have more of a functioning brain to determine right from wrong. Why we push this, or why you guys, or the pedo apologists, and what this heart progress shit, or whatever other pedo communities out there are trying to push this forward, is beyond me, because it's not only vexating, it's sickening, and it's also pretty much disturbing beyond belief. The fact of the matter is, we shouldn't be putting that sort of thing with pedophiles and children because that's just downright sickening. And I'm not even going to go further into this sort of thing, but let me just say that. The point of parents being the ones to look after the kids, it's their responsibility as parents to look after their kids, so that way those kind of people don't take advantage of kids, because the kids don't have a functioning, developing brain to usually tell right from wrong depending on that age. So I don't want to hear for a second about a lecture saying that it should be okay between a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old man to a little kid, because obviously it's not, because the little kid at that point in time has not fully developed into determining right from wrong. That, to me, is the most sickening thing that I have seen between that and that. The arguments that I have seen between that. It's cruel. And the thing about this is, right here, a wise man is not an idiot. Stop being conservative. People make their own decisions in life. Yes, you're correct. People do make their own decisions in life, but that's a thing called karma. When someone does something, karma catches right up to them. When someone does something bad, you can guarantee that someone's going to find out about it, and usually ends up in prison time. And like I said, I agree. People can think for themselves. I got no quarrel with that. That's pretty much how free will works. But the thing about what you say here, the decision belongs to the people, not the parents. Hate to break it to you, pal, but if the parents are the ones raising the kids, until that child has grown up to be a full-fledged adult, that parent is responsible and pretty much the ones that are supposed to look after the kids. It's their decisions of what they're supposed to do, so that way they don't end up in that sort of lifestyle.
Then that would be a violation of free will.
Well, but that's the thing, though. You're missing, again, you pretty much just cut off the point. The parent's responsibility. The parent's responsibility is to make sure the kid grows up in a healthy environment. Yes.
Right? But if for example, if the parent tells the child to hate Muslims, and the child says, "Well, I should not hate Muslims," then the child has no right to protest against the parent because the parent is in charge of the child. So so that child has to hate Muslims too. That's the thing about free will is
See,
that
I know what you're trying to do right there, and I pretty much just made it clear. I said this clearly, is to make sure that they raise the child in a healthy environment. Nowhere did I. Let me finish. I said a healthy environment. Healthy does not have that synonym with hating. First,
right, but I'm saying you have to then come into the definition of what healthy actually means, and healthy actually means things to different people. For example, homosexual lifestyle could be healthy to one person, but homosexual lifestyle could be unhealthy to the conservative. So then you have to define what healthy is to individual people, and that's where the problem comes in.
oh, so the problem is going to come in because someone else sees it the wrong way as someone else. But the thing about it is,
Because
but
yeah, right. Someone's right is someone else's wrong, and someone's wrong is someone else's right.
okay, but
So
you see, you're comparing though. You're comparing hating to the responsibility of a parent, and that's the thing. Where did hate come into a responsibility of a parent to a healthy environment? Of course, that's going to be different from another guy, from a trailer trash, or from some Nazi, or from some sort of bigotry. I'm talking about the responsibility of a parent that knows right from wrong to help their kids teach right from wrong. How are we putting
right,
hate from. No, 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 no. Let me finish. Shut up. Let me finish. How do you distinguish hate from pedosexual right there to the foundation of a parent to their kid is just vexating. That's just disturbing and just downright stupid. You can't just. This is just comparing apples to oranges here, man. How you come up with this is just complete blandish nonsense. The fact that this is the same repetitive bullshit that I've heard just from the same type of people because wow, you want to give the legalization into the normalization to pedophiles to have sex with kids and to have kids, and let's just say even if that was the case, let's just say if pedophilia was actually normalized and legal in the country, because basically from what I've actually did my research on is that the youngest child ever of a little female kid who was about 11 years old was the one to give birth to a baby. It doesn't matter what the age is, but let's just say if that was the case and it happened to be an 11-year-old kid that ended up giving birth to a baby to some sort of 20-year-old, 30-year-old, 40-year-old, 50-year-old, what have you. Imagine how the parents and the other members of that family would feel if someone like that were to happen. Not only does that consider pedophilia wrong right there, that's also statutory rape in that sense, so that also kind of doubles the problem on that end right there. But do you think that the child like that, if they even had a shred in their mind to distinguish the consent of sex, and they end up conceiving a child, do you think that's gonna be fucking fair to that kid, even though that kid doesn't even have a distinguished, functioning brain to tell what the fucking difference between adult sex and pedophile sex is? Imagine if they gave birth to a kid like that. That's sickening. That's not something that I would want my children to live in. That's disgusting. That is just no. No, that's manipulative nature. So I wanna see what your views on that part is.
I mean, it's just very, very massive.
Massive,
Um,
massive. What are we talking massive?
well, I mean, because there was many questions within the same time length of your point. So, I mean, it would be hard to answer everything generally. I have to answer everything in depth. Um, I don't know what you want me to answer, what question you are asking in general.
No, I just want to know what your viewpoint is. I mean, whatever you want to stick with first, and then move on to the next one. If you want to just start off with one of the ones I argued, you can go in any order. I don't care. Basically,
Okay.
so that way I can make this clear for you. Let's start off with the first one.
Yeah.
How would it feel if you had someone that was probably about, like, if you had a sister, if you had a niece or anyone like that, or a friend of yours that was like 11 years old, ended up giving birth to a baby that belonged to a 20-year-old, a 30-year-old, or a 40-year-old? How would you feel?
Well, I mean, it really wouldn't matter how I feel because I have no say in the lives of someone else.
But
So it would be more of a separate issue between me and the other person. So I have no right to judge a person by what they do or what they have sex with or their sexuality, and I
so
have no right to force my opinions on other people.
so
So
so let me make this clear then. Because I did say, imagine if that person was your niece or your sister. Hell, even if that someone was your daughter, 11 years old, and you would not have a problem with that.
well, I mean, even if I did have a problem, it doesn't matter. That's that other person's life. That's my point. My point is how I feel doesn't really matter. I can say whatever I want to say and feel however I want to feel, but the choice at the end of the day, that's their life, and I have no right to judge them based upon their life choices.
So you're pretty much just gonna let in that pretty much that hypothetical scenario of being that if that was your relative or your friend or whatnot, at the age of 11, being the youngest age that has ever conceived a kid, and whether in any outcome scenario, whether if that person liked that person or that person didn't even consider the difference between right and wrong, or pretty much didn't want that in the first place, considering those three outcomes, not a single thought in your mind be like, what the fuck just happened here? Why did I allow this to happen?
But well, like I said, it wouldn't. That wouldn't be my. I mean, let me say it this way. I guess I can go and I can give advice to someone as much as I want to. But at the end of the day, the choice belongs to the people. So the choice belongs to that person. So that person can go off and do whatever they want to, whether they listen to me or not. You know, I can't control them. That's their life. But I can give advice. But at the end of the day, if they choose not to listen to me, I can't judge them.
Jesus, this is laughable. Seriously, fucking laughable. You know why I think this is laughable? Because
Mm.
this is just inept. Downright inept. Here's why. Because I like I said, I'm not gonna say anything personally, but
Mm.
if I had someone like that in my life, if I had some person like that doing someone to someone that I know and that I care about, and realize that some sort of 30-year-old or 40-year-old was fucking them and whatnot, I'd be pissed. I'd be downright full of anger. I'd be full of hatred for that. Because, for one, I know everyone in my family would not allow that. I sure as hell wouldn't allow that. And before you go off saying, oh, because you just hate people for that, and I'm just being conservative for it. Truth be told to you, it's not conservative when you're trying to think about things that kind of affect other people's lives. That shit comes at a very negative output to it. That can also impact people severely, psychologically and mentally. That even goes for the child too. You know, when people like Ashton Kutcher, for example, actually had a organization called Thorn, which pretty much stops human trafficking or child trafficking or pretty much sexual activities or pedophile rings. That's the sort of shit that people deal with. Those cases. People like myself that don't want any other kid to go through that sort of thing because they couldn't tell the difference between what that adult was doing to them. And that's the sad part about it. That's the sick, sad, disturbing part, is that the kids could not understand what they were going to or what they were going through. From what I can quote, what they thought they were engaging in was play. And if you think I'm making this shit up, you can search up Ashton Kutcher talking about his organization of Thorn. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of surprised that I haven't really kind of blew my lid off about this, but I want to get into another question. Are you affiliated with Heart Progress or any of these other groups? I want to know.
No,
So you're not. So pretty much you're pretty much a pedo apologist, from what I can just downright say.
I'm more of a realist. I just speak the truth and how I see it. It's just I always done that since I was born. So if I see something that doesn't really make any sense, doesn't really that kind of contradicts the way of life, the way of being, then I speak out.
Well, I'm going to leave you to ponder your thoughts for a moment right here because I need to take care of something. So I'm going to leave you to think about this and we'll kind of continue this on.
Okay.
What's going on? What happened? Okay, apologies, but someone was at the door, so I'm gonna just end this off and just kind of just say, and just so I got a complete understanding about this, you yourself, because you already consented to this recording, am I correct? I just want to make that completely clear.
Yes.
Okay, so we're absolutely clear about this because this is going up on YouTube. So, what I'm going to ask is that pretty much you're basically okay with pedophilia. That's what you're saying. That's pretty much, that's a basic question.
Basic, yes.
So you basically just admitted that.
I am okay with it within the realms of if I was not okay with it or if I was okay with it, it wouldn't matter because that's still life. So all I'm doing is coming at it from a human rights issue, not from I'm part of the group or something like that. I'm not one of them, but from a human rights issue, that's where I'm coming from.
Well, I
So
mean, between human rights and pretty much the psychological and mental well-being of children that could be affected, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. Bull fucking shit. Bull. The fact that I'm really going to see the fact that it needs to be a human rights issue over the fact that little kids can get psychologically and mentally harmed over something that they either can't distinguish or they don't want to go through. And pretty
well,
much, because it doesn't just affect them, it also affects everyone around them. And I'm going to let you finish off before I have my finishing statement. So go ahead.
it becomes the point of if you're saying that the only reason why sex is bad for this particular group of people is because of their mental capacity to understand said actions, then the problem comes in is where you have to actually determine if that applies to every single person within that group. And that's where the human rights issue comes in because you have the right to free will. That's a human right. But yet, a generalized understanding of a group is a violation of free will, which is a recognition of individual rights to do whatever they choose to do. So that becomes the question. That's where the human rights issue comes in. Or is every single person in that group actually not capable of thinking in that way? Or is it just a conservative understanding which generalizes the whole entire population in the group? That's where the human rights issue comes in.
So
So,
go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, according to basically just what I believe, even though it's way off the bat here, you just view me as a conservative, basically upon someone who I called out, and the fact that this actually has some harmful implications to this, and basically the implications. If you ever get a chance, I want you to look up the United States law on sexual activity between states, because there are certain states in there that require the ages of either 18, 17, and 16, but basically altogether in certain states that require the age of consent by law. Doesn't matter if it's state law, but the federal law within every single state in the United States require that every person be the age of 18 to consent to sex. So anything below that is against the law. So hate to break it to you, but federal law trumps state law pretty much. But so much for the human rights issue. The law is the law in the United States. And you know what? In other countries, I don't know exactly what goes on in other countries. I'm pretty sure that almost any other country that I can pretty much put my finger on would not allow this sort of behavior. The thing about this is that if it violates the law, it's pretty much a problem. But the thing about it is, it's not just a violation of law. It's also something that shouldn't be allowed because it causes a lot of psychological and mental, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty much consequences. That's the thing. Consequences. And now I'm just going to end this off saying that this is pretty much just the end here. I think I've just said all I needed to say. And thank you for being here, but also thank you for also exposing yourself before the people. And now, goodbye. We're done.
Shazam!
That was a pretty solid debate there. I mean,
By the way, I also recorded in case your recording had problems.
Okay. I actually, can I get the copy of your recording just in case?
Sure.
All right, and also send that to Stout or whoever you can.
Yeah.
What's funny though? What's funny about this is
I'll file mail it to all y'all.
okay.